Hold on, my landline is ringing. Yes, I have a landline. If a target account ever visited one of your competitors' G2 pages 3 times in a single week, would you even know? Hi, I'm Snow from Marketing, here with another episode of How to Win on G2, where we break down everything you need to know to turn your G2 relationship into revenue fuel for your organization. Here's a MythBuster for you. Buyer intent is often thought of as a top funnel signal, but with more people building their shortlists in AI, the evaluation phase is extending, and that's exactly when buyers are going to review sites. When my boss asks me who is researching our product, those are bottom of funnel buyers, and they better be in our pipeline. And here's the data to back that up. 82% of B2B software buyers have sourced software recommendations from an AI chatbot in the last 2 years. So today, I'll help you learn how to capture that second-party intent data to fuel real pipeline. Here's what we'll be covering: why buyer intent data is now an evaluation stage signal, how to connect your ad strategy with buyer intent data, how ABM-powered intent helps you win the right accounts at the right time, and how to use intent data to get ahead of churn. Let's get into it. What buyer intent signals indicate a prospect is in the evaluation stage, and why does it matter for sellers? Research shows that 51% of buyers are starting their search in an AI chatbot, while the other 49% are in traditional search, which itself is increasingly shaped by AI answers. This is compressing the shortlist to be faster than ever before. In fact, evaluation has overtaken building the shortlist as the longest stage in the buying journey, 40% versus 36% for the first time ever. At this stage, buyers are looking for use cases that match their own. They want to know how your solution works and if it will fit into their existing tech stack and where you rank in your category. They're looking at your pricing. They're comparing you against solutions they may already be familiar with, and they're interested in your customer experience. And here's the kicker: software buyers look for review site citations when deciding whether or not to trust an AI recommendation, with 42% of buyers saying review sites influence their shortlist. When a buyer is on a review site, they are further down the funnel. And if you haven't already engaged, you should be. And if you are engaged, you should use those signals to fuel your conversations, build surround and competitive campaigns, and move deals further down the funnel. How do you connect G2 buyer intent data to your advertising strategy to reach in-market accounts? Think about it this way: advertising on G2, Capterra, or GitApp, or leveraging PPL from Software Advice puts you right in front of your customers when they are closer to making a decision. Pair that with buyer intent data, and you get a full picture of the path they took to get to you. That gives your sales team better context. They're able to more effectively qualify their opportunities and have conversations that directly reflect where your buyer is in their journey. The real advantage is competitive signals, which can fuel your advertising strategy outside of the G2 ecosystem. Knowing who else your buyer is evaluating during their evaluation stage will let you have better conversations and fuel your ad campaigns, presenting the right content at the right time in the right channel. Powerful. G2 integrates directly with programmatic and social platforms like LinkedIn Matched Audiences, 6sense, Demandbase, and RollWorks to refine your target audiences in real time. So instead of burning budget on accounts that aren't in market, you're engaging with accounts that are actively evaluating right now. How does account-based marketing work with G2 buyer intent data? And what does the G2 MCP tool do? Imagine a target account visits your G2 profile 3 times in a single week. That can trigger a high priority task that is assigned to the account owner. All you need to do is integrate buyer intent into your CRM. Then the rep can send a highly personalized and relevant message to the account. Remember, if these buyers are on G2, Capterra, GitApp, or Software Advice, they likely already have a shortlist brewing and are in the evaluation stage. And you want to make sure you're a part of the conversation. And here's something new that makes it even easier. For growth marketers and BDRs, you can now leverage the G2 MCP for Claude to identify actively engaged accounts in real time. This is also available in ChatGPT, and it makes it easier than ever to query your buyer intent data to identify engaged accounts, see who's looking at what, and understand what next steps you should be taking. This is a significant shift in how your team can move from signal to outreach. Can buyer intent data help prevent customer churn? And how do you use it for renewals? Account-based marketing isn't just about net new acquisition. It also applies to current customer retention and churn. Imagine an existing customer starts viewing a competitor profile or alternative lists 6 weeks before renewal. Wouldn't you want to know? With buyer intent, you can alert your customer and account management teams immediately, so they can step in proactively before a contract renewal is ever in danger. That's the power of buyer intent beyond pipeline. At the end of the day, buyer intent isn't top of funnel fluff anymore. It's evaluation stage reality. Buyers are using AI to narrow down their options and using sites like G2 to validate what providers they can actually trust. If you aren't listening for those second party signals, you're not just missing net new deals. You're missing the moment your enterprise accounts are engaging with your competitors. Turn your G2 intent data on, embed it in your sales and marketing workflows, and capture those new deals, whether they are net new or renewals, before somebody else does. Thanks for watching. And if you're already using G2 buyer intent in your account-based marketing or retention plays, drop it in a comment below. I'd love to see how you're making it work. Subscribe to How to Win on G2 so you don't miss our next episode. Now, let's get out there and win those shortlists.